Within the Michigan Street African American Heritage Corridor stand a number of buildings of historical significance to the city of Buffalo. The Michigan Street Baptist Church, the Colored Musicians Club, the Nash House, and radio station Howard 96.5 FM, also known historically as 1080 AM WUFO. Missing from this neighborhood is a building, rather an institution, which had the distinction for its time of being the one place that united the black community of Buffalo, New York under one roof to meet all of their needs. That place was none other than the Michigan Ave YMCA. Due to a lack of places for African Americans to meet, YMCA Executive Secretary William Jackson makes an official call to organize the Michigan Avenue branch of the YMCA. It was set up specifically to cater to the needs of black men and boys, and was initially started in 1924 at a former church building at 585 Michigan Avenue. In 1927, plans to expand the building were set into motion as John E. Brent, who had the distinction of being Buffalo's first black architect, drew up plans for a brand new multi-purpose facility which would be dedicated 1 year later in, quote, devotion to the uplift and advancement of the 10,000 members of the community it served, unquote. Brent was also a founding member along with Dr. I.L. Scruggs, Rudolph Lane, and Cornelius Ford. The newly remodeled facility consisted of a 20 by 60 foot swimming pool and gymnasium. It had 2 lounges, one for the men and one for the boys, as well as a barber shop set up in the basement. A cafeteria, classrooms, and special rooms for the various clubs within the building were located on the 2nd floor, and the 3rd and 4th floor were home to dormitories for up to 70 men. Here are reflections from Clifford Bell.
Oh, are you kidding? I went there, and along with thousands of others, it was the most magnificent mentoring place in the history of Buffalo. It played a far more important role than the Nash House or Michigan Street Baptist Church because of the number of people it affected. There was hardly anybody that you would know or imagine all during that period of time that didn't have some kind of relationship with the Michigan Avenue YMCA. It was built to us because in those days, we could not go to the regular YMCA. It's what's amazing. YMCA stands for Young Men's Christian Association, but they weren't Christian because they had to build 2 or 3 black Ys to accommodate black people. Michigan Avenue Y was one of them. And of course their architect was a black guy. And he was the first black architect in the city of Buffalo. Michigan Avenue YMCA was one that we had picked because of its influence and effect they had on the general community. Everybody that was doing anything in any church. See, there was no other place large enough to have as many people in it at one time and serve them. And I got a whole book in there on the Michigan Avenue YMCA. It was also built to house traveling road people. It had rooms upstairs for men only, but if they were on the road traveling back and forth to Buffalo or coming in here for a visit, there would be a place that it wouldn't cost them a lot of money where they could stay overnight, couple days, 3 days, or whatever. And also had activity. We had a camp that kids went to, and they had all kinds of activities, swimming and a great gym where they had competition. I played on the YMCA basketball team. I think we won about 80 games before we lost any time to anybody. So I played basketball too, and football. And so it was just a great place to go. And a lot of people that were there that appeared there are historical people like W.E.B. Du Bois and all those inventors and all of those era of the 40s and the 50s and 60s. So for 50 years, and I mean, it was effective. I mean, if you wanted to know about medicine, history, I don't care what the subject was. We had Jim Brown came for a visit. He was in his heyday, running over top of people. We got all those pictures. We made up a beautiful YMCA display from the time it was founded and constructed until it was used. And the pictures of a lot of people that are in there are people that went on to be doctors, lawyers, judges, physicians, you name it. Prominent folk. If you look at some of them pictures, you say, what? You know, amazing, amazing. All of them went there, and they're always historical because they had mother and women's clubs. They had father-mother organizations. They had all the frats and whatnot and sororities had some kind of relationship with the Y. Because they would meet there and talk about their goals and objectives. And the YMCA was a preparation area for developing character, responsibility, sensitivity, things that were instructed in it, that were accepted by these kids because the environment was such that you had to comply with this kind of relationship if you wanted to come there. And the ministers would all meet. They had a committee. W.L. Scruggs was the first black doctor or black to be a member of the National YMCA committee. They didn't have any blacks on there at all until Dr. Scruggs. And Dr. Scruggs was our family doctor. He lived right there with me on Humboldt. And he would come to your house. My mother got sick and my father got sick at home. He come in there with his bag, man. You can't even see a doctor in the hospital no more. He mind coming to your house to visit you. You know how long ago that was.
It goes without saying that there was hardly a dull moment inside the Michigan Avenue YMCA. As it progressed further through its history into the 1960s and 70s, it became ground zero for a number of community meetings and press conferences during the height of the civil rights and black power movements which would impact upon the city of Buffalo. By 1977, the Michigan YMCA would sadly run its course and the building would be demolished. While the Michigan Street Heritage Corridor continues to grow, the everlasting spirit of the Michigan Avenue YMCA, which was a hub for mentoring and leadership, will forever loom large.